Comes across, Dimash got there first, Di Marco as we must now call him.
Yeah, good move this as usual, no? From Inter trying to involve probably the best player on the park in the recent games. Di Marco providing goals, assists, everything. Interesting to see Thuram position, starting wide left, so Kalulu has to be in closer to Bremer, so we leave room for Di Marco to receive the ball.
Luis Enrique, careless pass from the Brazilian. Locatelli now trying to release Yildiz. It's a great first touch, and he's able to nutmeg Barella.
Yeah, remember Yildiz scored. Shine started well with the cheeky nutmeg as well.
That game that Manuel has just referenced. Finished 4-4, the reverse fixture ended 4-3, so he could be in for goals this evening. Lautaro. Knocking into Kelly, but Juventus still have the ball. Fabio Miretti, Pierre Kalulu, Conceição, who has a winning goal against Inter on his CV in Turin last season. Juventus seeing most of the ball in the early stages, which is a real departure from what we saw for them under Max Allegri. He's saying the players are very happy working under Spalletti. And actually, Juventus might come up again.
They got less physical presence in the middle of the park, but they are more technical. They can keep the ball for fun.
Bianconeri, Kalulu.
Yeah, in the build-up play we see Juventus bringing inside the park Cambiaso. They want to feed Yildiz.
Locatelli looking for Yildiz. Good challenge from Bisek. It might have come off Yildiz last as well.
Yes, good challenge. This one by the number 31, sliding tackle. Caught Yildiz left foot, and it's a goal kick. And now Inter will have the chance to build from the back with Jan Sommer.
It's not often we see Inter having to play second fiddle in the possession stakes. That may well change with the Nerazzurri now on the ball. Conceição squeezing Bastoni, and Juventus forcing the mistake.
Yeah, but look, 7 Juventus players pressing Inter really high. They want to steal the ball immediately. Look, there is a 2 against 2 at the back. Cambiaso is the man who can stay central, can stay wide, can give Spalletti so many options, like McKennie, for example.
It is a risky strategy. We've seen Atalanta try to do it down the years with Gasperini. We've seen Como come unstuck, trying to press Inter very aggressively. If the Nerazzurri beat the press, they could have lots of room en route to goal.
Yeah, but you know what the difference is? Bremer and Kelly, they got pace. They can match Lautaro and Thuram. They're not scared to play 50 yards away from Di Gregorio.
Luis Enrique. Barella fit again. He and Çalhanoğlu missed the trip to Reggio Emilia. Çalhanoğlu not in from the start this evening. Inter are in action in Norway next week. First leg of their Champions League playoff against Bodo Glimt. Juventus go to Istanbul to take on Galatasaray. And there, Kelly showing his pace to get in ahead of Marcus Thuram. Fine defending from the Englishman.
Yeah, Inter is trying to drag Bremer away from his central position to attack in behind, but Kelly's quick, so Thuram will have a hard game to go past by the Englishman.
Locatelli, good ball to find Yildiz. Now David, Yildiz once more. The early ball looking for Conceição, intercepted by Di Marco. Thuram. Zielinski, good feet in tight areas. This is Sucic. Inter's first foray forward. Di Marco delivers. It's run for Zielinski. Sucic goes down. Federico Lapena unmoved. Conceição tripped by Bastoni, and Juventus will ask for a yellow card.
This can be a yellow card. Could have been a yellow card easy. It is fair to the referee. I think this is the right decision, even if Bastoni is not happy with that. But Conceição beat him in a 1-against-1. Here we can question about the little small touch in between Miretti and Sucic, but the referee, we can see, is a couple of meters away from there. Yeah, there is a light contact, and I agree with the Lapena.
Reminder, on the line counts as inside the penalty area. Petr Sucic was just outside the box. There was contact from Miretti, but once the referee doesn't give a free kick, VAR can't do anything unless it was deemed a foul inside the box. Bisek under pressure. And how will that affect Bastoni getting booked so early on here?
I think it will be an hard job for him, because he's going to face Conceição every single time.
Thuram away from Lloyd Kelly. Lautaro now. On for Barella. Zielinski.
And knowing that you have been booked, you know, facing a tricky player like Conceição, it's not going to be easy for Bastoni.
Bastoni seems surprised he was getting booked there. Akanji, one of the goal scorers in Reggio Emilia, got his first for the club. So too did Luis Enrique. Cambiaso keeping Zielinski quiet. Zielinski goes down. Cambiaso took the ball into touch when he had the chance to release Yildiz.
Because, you know, as a defender, no, you always say to the referee, my first foul, but if a first foul is like this one, this deserves a yellow card.
Not only a tactical foul, but it was high. He kicked him on the knee. Here is Bastoni. Thuram. Akanji. David going to press. This is Bisek. Piotr Zielinski playing as a deep line playmaker this evening in the absence of Çalhanoğlu. Thuram. Bastoni. Now Akanji. Inter's turn to be patient.
You can see Inter Patrick try to overload one side. Look, Barella is there, Sucic, Zielinski.
Zielinski's driven ball. Now Luis Enrique. Inter have numbers inside the box. Luis Enrique, Kelly away. David got there. Zielinski used his arm.
And that's what they want to do, no? Overload one side to then zing the ball from Zielinski with his quality towards the wide man, Luis Enrique. Here, handball by Zielinski, clearly.
Seemed to catch Jonathan David's arm first before hitting Zielinski, so perhaps Juventus got away with one there. Christian Kivu very complimentary of Juventus and his opposite number. He said Juve have improved loads under Luciano. He's given his team an identity in a short space of time, and the players have improved as individuals. We've certainly seen that with this man, David. So too McKennie. Kalulu now. Good defending this time from Bastoni. Used his body.
Yeah, a risky one, because he's on a yellow.
Di Marco. Brenner there to cut it out. Groans from San Siro.
Yeah, because you expect Di Marco to be more precise and feed one of his teammates. But David is such an intelligent player. He's coming so deep that force the defender to make a choice, no, to go with him and leave a big gap in behind.
I'm glad you said that. Did we focus too much on his lack of goals at the start of the season? Here is Jonathan David in behind. Locatelli with the ball. Di Marco showing he's now a complete footballer.
Correct, Patrick. Great diagonal run, yes, but David, I know that every single fan judge a player, a striker especially, on their scoring records, but he's such an intelligent player. He's always dropping the right position, and that is a great quality to have, like Lautaro is doing for Inter.
It's a lovely run. It was a gorgeous ball, terrific first touch, and excellent defending. Good football all round at San Siro. Locatelli's header down. Sucic beaten to it by McKennie. Juventus with the one-touch football. There is, of course, a scenario whereby Inter lose tonight. Maybe they even lose the derby to Milan, and yet they still get more points than anyone else across 38 games. We do tend to focus on the 6-pointers, but it is a slight cliche, but this game is worth 3 points just like any other match.
Yeah, but if they're going to lose tonight, you never know that Napoli, if they're going to win tomorrow night against Roma, they will have the chance to go -6 to Inter. And Napoli doesn't play any cups this season so they will have a chance now to compete for the Scudetto again.
Nor to Milan, knocked out of the Coppa Italia, just like Napoli were earlier on this week. Napoli also bowing out of the Champions League. We did start to write off Napoli after they were beaten 3-0 in Turin by Juventus. Yildiz amongst the scorers. David got one too. Conceição away from Di Marco. Now he runs at Sucic. This is Kalulu. It's come off Bastoni. He avoids the corner.
Yeah, Conceição is the player that Juventus needs to feed more often. He goes past his player. Whoever is playing against him is so hard to stop. And now maybe long throw in with this man.
Man in form. If Di Marco is Inter's most prominent player at the moment in terms of goals and assists, and Wes McKennie is Juventus' standout. McKennie's throw, Conceição, it was improvised. Barella was calm, so too Sucic. Di Marco gets distance.
And Juventus brought the two centre-back, Bremer and Kelly, in the Inter box, and almost they surprised the Nerazzurri with this move by Conceição, coming short to attack him behind Di Marco.
Ball stayed in play there, despite the pleas from the far side of San Siro, but Stefano Alassio unmoved. Yildiz. Cambiaso.
Patrick, it's interesting to see that Locatelli is coming deep, and Miretti and Cambiaso are the two playmakers.
Plenty of coaches have seen lots of potential in Andrea Cambiaso. He occasionally switches off. Manuel Locatelli spoke in encouraging terms about Andrea Cambiaso because has recently been booed and whistled by his own fan base. Locatelli's had some of that treatment in the past, but the Bianconeri captain has backed Cambiaso to shrug off some of that criticism. Akanji carrying the ball and finding Di Marco.
We didn't see much from Inter skipper.
Barella. Now Luis Enrique up against Cambiaso. Barella, Locatelli got there. David's given it away to Sucic. Thuram allowed to turn. Luis Enrique, and it's gone in. Di Gregorio couldn't readjust in time. It will be an own goal, but Luis Enrique beginning to make his mark in Nerazzurri colours. His first goal at Sassuolo, and now he sets up the opener.
Yes, Patrick, it's not the goal we were waiting for, but this counts again. But look, Thuram receiving the ball, too much room for him, feeding Luis Enrique. That's what you need sometimes to win trophies. A bit of luck, too much room. Cambiaso is not tight enough. I don't know why. Di Gregorio is already diving. Surely you have to go there with your left foot, not with your right. This, on my view, is a big mistake by former Inter goalkeeper.
Michele Di Gregorio was in the Inter Academy for many years. A slight deflection off Cambiaso. The goalkeeper was then expected to readjust. Cambiaso expected Di Gregorio to gather that, if not with his hands having already gone to ground. As Manuel mentioned, it seemed more logical to use his left foot. It is a goalkeeping mistake in a high-profile game. Michele Di Gregorio, who grew up looking up to Samir Handanovic. And that goal fairly reminiscent of the own goal from Gatti. Cambiaso's cross, meantime. That was the last time Inter won here in February. A Gatti own goal just over 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I don't know why Di Gregorio, yes, he was expecting Luis Enrique to put the ball, a decent ball in, but deflection from Cambiaso changed everything, but too slow to react, in my point of view. And it was actually the first time that Inter was in Juventus box in the first 18 minutes.
Offside against Marcus Thuram. Sometimes that's what you need when you have a negative record in these 6-pointers. Bit of the rub of the green. Wasn't so much a slice of luck for Inter as a goalkeeping mistake ultimately. Cambiaso tried to stop the cross initially, but it seemed to happen in slow motion. There seemed enough time for Di Gregorio to deal with it.
Yeah, got caught by surprise, I don't know, but they are the most logical things is going with your left foot rather than trying to twist your body. A keeper that is being under criticism by Juventus fan.
As has Jan Sommer, the Inter goalkeeper. Juventus have a very reliable number 2 in Mattia Perin. Doesn't play too much. Yildiz losing out to Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique away. Locatelli first to the loose ball. Time and space for Kalulu. Good ball in for McKennie. Straight at the goalkeeper.
How many times we've seen this coming from Juventus, and Kalulu is turning into a kind of David Beckham in a recent years. Great ball in, too central from McKennie, but he's the man that Inter has to be scared of.
Kalulu and McKennie, Juventus' 2 scorers against Lazio, and they came back from 2-0 down last weekend to get a draw against the Biancocelesti. Good hold-up play by Lautaro. Bisek finds Sucic. It's behind Bastoni. But Inter have taken courage from taking the lead. Sucic.
Yeah, Juventus, Patrick, started the match trying to press Inter really, really high. Now look like they're sitting deep a bit more.
Manuel, correct me if I'm wrong, but just going back to that first goal, felt like Di Gregorio just panicked and rushed it. Didn't realise how much time he had to actually deal with that.
Yeah, probably because everybody was expecting him to save it easily.
McKennie holding off Zielinski. Now bringing in Conceição. Again, Kalulu in the pocket. This is Yildiz. Cambiaso. It looked a fairly innocuous cross from Luis Enrique, but understandably his teammates going across to congratulate him. Yildiz with the quick feet. Still Yildiz. Now Conceição. Creating space for the shot.
That is a good chance, but Juventus are producing something in the last third. Feed this man and he'll create something. Yeah, look like going back to the Di Gregorio mistake. Look like he got stuck, probably his left foot on the ground. I don't know, because he had time to move actually.
Such an incredible record that Christian Kivu has as Inter coach. This is his 40th match in charge. He's won 28 of the previous 39, 2 draws and 9 defeats. They don't draw too many matches, Inter. Lautaro winning a free kick.
Yeah, that's what Inter now will look to try every single time that Juventus will press them really, really high, feed the two strikers, especially Lautaro in his chest. It's not easy to steal the ball off the Inter skipper. And as Locatelli is coming deep in the playmaker, the defender position, Zielinski is doing the same.
One back by Kelly, high on the pitch. He's got David ahead of him. Miretti with the quick feed. Di Marco did enough. Petr Sucic. Overhit for Di Marco.
Yeah, but that was a good idea. If we can see again, it was Di Marco attacking in behind, 2 against 1 with Lautaro and just Bremer there.
Di Marco's now out of position. Conceição with Kalulu in support. Early cross from the Frenchman, a Kanji away. And he's found Di Marco too. Marcus Thuram. He was fouled by Bremer in the view of the referee.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times Inter in the recent years losing the ball, that kind of situation, and concede goals. Yeah, you can see probably Bremer dribbling Thuram left arm.
Kivu calling for calm. The result favours Inter as things stand. The Nerazzurri going 8 clear at the Serie A summit, responding to Milan's late victory last night in Tuscany. They needed a goal in the final 5 minutes from Luka Modric to take maximum points at Cetila Arena. Miretti wins it back. Locatelli now. So much of Juventus' play goes through Kalulu these days. Clearly they feel they can get it into down the Nerazzurri's left.
Yeah, of course, because Zielinski is struggling a bit to be more aggressive on that side of the park, with Sucic going and press Locatelli high. So Kalulu is the free man.
Lloyd Kelly. He got his first Juventus goal in the reverse fixture, took it very well. Remains his only Serie A goal to date. Yildiz. Not seen too much of Lautaro, nor has Yildiz really come to the fore just yet. Locatelli trying to find Kalulu. Sucic. Well in by Locatelli. This is Jonathan David. Now Kalulu. Conceição. David in the middle. Kalulu delays the cross. McKennie delivers. David! And Cambiaso! Sneaking in out of nowhere. And the name on the score sheet twice. At both ends, that of Andrea Cambiaso.
Yeah, but Juventus deserved it, Patrick, because they've been the better team in the first 26 minutes. McKennie put a decent ball in. I think David lost the contact with the ball, and then, as you said, sneaking from the back, Cambiaso, surprising Luis Enrique, leveled the game for Juventus.
He's come under fire recently from the Bianconeri faithful. Booed and whistled at his home ground, Andrea Cambiaso. But no one knew where the Italy international was here.
Yeah, but Luis Enrique is in the wrong position. Yes, Akanji is there. Bisek, I don't know, maybe he's scared to score an own goal. But Luis Enrique here, too far away from Cambiaso. He's watching him here, probably thinking that Bisek is going to clear the ball. And here is the moment where Luis Enrique is losing the goal scorer.
An assist for Wes McKennie when he's not scoring, still plays a big part in the goals, and Andrea Cambiaso has only his second goal of the season. Both of them have come in Lombardy. Previously scored at Cremonese, he's now found the net in a much bigger fixture, the Derby d'Italia.
Yes, Luis Enrique will be the man that may fall easy, but even Bisek there has to clear the ball, has to be in a better position, clear with his right foot the cross from McKennie. This can be a yellow card for Barella. It's not.
mentioned, Manuel, that Juventus had been the better side. Certainly we'd seen more territory from them, greater possession. They seemed to carry more of a threat. The Inter goal came from a fairly innocuous passage of play, but similarly, there didn't seem any danger there until Luis Enrique went to sleep.
Yeah, Luis Enrique and Bisek as well, because Bisek there can clear the ball with his right foot, but probably he thought that Luis Enrique was by himself.
Good ball that. This is Thuram, through for Lautaro. Bremer came across. The Brazilian just seems to glide across the turf.
Yeah, Bremer is quick. The ball from Thuram was a decent one, but the number 3 is a strong, powerful defender.
Cambiaso, own goal on 17 minutes. Cambiaso in the right net after 26 minutes. It's a player who's hugely gifted technically, very two-footed. Lots of coaches have seen the potential in him. He actually got his first Serie A goal against Luciano Spalletti's Napoli. That was when he was still with Genoa. There's a reason why he plays for Italy. There's a reason why Manchester City wanted him. Pep Guardiola and all. Sucic. This is Di Marco. It was a shot. It nearly became an assist for Lautaro.
Yeah, it was a kind of in the middle or in between a shot and a pass. Look at Lautaro there. Maybe if he's gamble, can attack it, and he knows it. Barella was, yeah, we tried to shot there, tried to hit the ball with the outside of his left foot and curl into the far corner.
Juventus have clearly got better since Spalletti came in, but even then, under Tudor, Juventus won the reverse fixture against Inter. That was admittedly the early stage of the season for Kivu's Inter, but how do you explain their big match record domestically, where they haven't beaten anyone besides the likes of Roma? McKennie, meantime, for David. Still Jonathan David. Yildiz now trying to bend it, pushed away by Sommer. Could have caught it, got it to safety. And Di Marco wins a throw-in.
Yeah, it's a fact, it's a statistics they have to work on clearly, because yes, you can win easily all the game you want, but you need at least to beat one of your opponent, a big one in a big crush. They are struggling even in this half, Patrick, at the start of the first half, 30 minutes now, they are struggling big time.
Adriano and Roberto Baggio there. Baggio, who represented both clubs. Adriano, synonymous with the Nerazzurri. Two illustrious names from yesteryear. But it's an amazing record, this, for Inter. 5 draws and 5 losses in 10 matches against Milan, Juventus and Napoli since the 22nd of April 2024, when they beat Milan here in the derby to win the second star, their 20th Scudetto, with 5 matches remaining since then. Haven't beaten any of their rivals.
You know what they're missing? Lautaro goal, probably. That's the player that is struggling against the big teams.
That's a mistake. And Sommer gets back just in time. Barella with a risky back pass.
Yeah, huge risk, but this tells you a lot about the Inter moment. Inter first half, yes, they found the opening goal with Cambiaso own goal. Juventus are playing better. And yeah, I think Sommer at the end did well.
Thankfully for Sommer, it wasn't headed between the posts, else would have been touch and go as to whether he would have got there. Juventus on top, looking to exploit this dominance. Yildiz. It's dropped for Lloyd Kelly. Now Luis Enrique. Clipping it forward for Barella. It's a foul by Pierre Kalulu and a very rare yellow card for the Frenchman. Only his second of the season, and he's not missed a minute across all competitions.
Patrick, twice Juventus played the same throw-in for a player coming short to go long. They found him in the middle of the box, and here Barella with his technique, touching the ball first. Kalulu fouling the Sardinian player.
Pierre Kalulu having a terrific season, delivering on the promise that he showed in that 2021-22 campaign when he was part of the Milan centre-back pairing with Fikayo Tomori. And a look at the 2 goals. The Cambiaso own goal. And then Cambiaso correcting that mistake from this ball from McKennie.
Yeah, look, Bisek here. Look, if he's in a better position, he can clear the ball. Even now he can clear the ball with his left, and then obviously Luis Enrique not watching Cambiaso, not tight enough. Easy goal for the number 27.
Here is Bisek. Luis Enrique. Just shows however much quality there is on the pitch, and there's plenty on display this evening, that so often football matches come down to mistakes, individual errors. We've seen a couple. That's why it's as you were, essentially. Began at 0-0, it's 1 each at the Meazza. Lautaro was between the lines, Akanji didn't spot his captain. Now Sucic. Zielinski. Bastoni. Zielinski. Thuram comes short. Kelly staying with him. Just over 10 minutes to play until the break. It's a scoreline which will make Napoli and Milan fans very happy, Roma supporters too. Barella, clever touch, Zielinski off the line by Bremer. Good gambling by the Brazilian. Di Gregorio was beaten once again into going close.
Yeah, brilliant from Thuram, great pass.
Inter have won it high here. Sucic dropping the shoulder. Lautaro Martinez misses the target.
And now Inter finally producing something. First, a great ball from Thuram with the outside of his right foot, and here Sucic probably has to strike, and Lautaro probably was waiting for a sweeter pass. Here Zielinski could have done better, but Bremer, as usually, showing why he's one of the top defenders in Serie A.
Zielinski got his first 2 Inter goals in this fixture last season, that 4-4 draw. He converted a pair of penalties. It's a lovely late run from him. Did everything right to lift it beyond Di Gregorio, but didn't quite have the pace to allow it to cross the line before Bremer came back. Di Gregorio now under pressure, finding Kelly, but Inter can sense the nervousness that the Juventus goalkeeper is experiencing.
Yeah, huge risk.
Di Marco over the top. Lovely switch of play for Thuram. Now Luis Enrique joining in. Good spell for Inter this. Nicolò Barella. And again. This is Bisek. Miretti made sure it didn't reach Lautaro. David. Bastoni competing for the ball. Juventus have numbers here. Fabio Miretti. It's behind Conceição. Conceição delivers. Zielinski got there ahead of McKennie. That was a scary moment for Inter. But Juventus will come again with Cambiaso. Now Yildiz.
Yeah, great job by Zielinski, because Inter was without a couple of defenders. Bastoni surely.
Kalulu. So often the Bianconeri look to this man, Conceição, to beat opposition players, to create space and create an overload. Manuel Locatelli. Yildiz. Once again, it is in keeping with recent editions of this fixture. You get the sense that it's not going to end 1-1 this evening. Yildiz, Miretti, came off Luis Enrique last.
You know what the difference is, Patrick, because if you defend deep for Juventus, you've got Yildiz and Conceição.
Miretti keeping it in play. Now Yildiz. His ball for Conceição. Lovely first touch. David wants it. Conceição. Bremer now. Into with all 11 men behind the ball. Kelly. Briefly saw Giorgio Chiellini as part of the Juventus senior management. Conceição, fouled by Di Marco.
So you can go to them, feed them, they're gonna create things. On the other side, if you defend deep with Inter, they don't have the player that can create a solo goal. So they have to work hard to find a team goal. That's the difference between Juventus and Inter, probably the main one. Juventus are high on the park, they feed Conceição, if this they're gonna create something. Inter, maybe they have to work hard to find a team goal.
Perhaps that's the sort of profile that's missing in this Inter side. Did try and sign Ademola Lookman back in the summer. Locatelli takes it short. Conceição running at Sucic. Conceição went down too easily, goal kick. And Di Marco asking for a yellow card for simulation.
Yeah, but that's clear. No, you've got a free kick from 30 yards, you feed Conceição, 1 against 1. Spot on, the referee.
Sucic didn't play the ball, but nor did he trip Conceição. Nudged the ball over the byline, and that was that. Bisek. Luis Enrique didn't stay in play for Barella. Is there a team that's under greater pressure to win this match, Inter or Juventus?
Probably, maybe, I don't know, probably Inter, no, because the stats you mentioned, Inter wants to give a sign to all the Inter club they're able to beat one of the Italian giants. And they are at home as well.
Kelly pressed by Barella. Yildiz, risky switch of play, but it's a successful one for Kalulu. Conceição. Kalulu demanding the ball again. This is Miretti. Given away to Bastoni, who was too casual. Sucic fouled by Cambiaso.
Yeah, correct, but that's a good thing to do. If you lose the ball, immediately foul. Now they're talking with Miretti, maybe for kicking the ball away, probably.
Christian Kivu said that even during his playing career, when he was at Inter, he always viewed the matches against the likes of Juventus and Milan just like any other game, like when they played Ascoli, for instance, who were in Serie A during some of Kivu's playing career. Here's Sucic. He's got Di Marco to his left. Di Marco now trying to play the killer ball. He wins a corner, which is always a threat.
Yeah, but I think the ball from Sucic was too short for Di Marco, because look, he doesn't have room to play this kind of ball. Good defending by Kalulu. Now Inter set piece.
Inter scored from a couple of corners at Mapei Stadium as Pepe Marotta watches on alongside Javier Zanetti. Di Marco teed up Bisek at one end, Akanji at the other. So Juventus will be aware of the threat the Nerazzurri pose here. Di Marco with the corner. Thuram, it's saved by Di Gregorio, and somehow it's caught the post and stayed out. Inter desperately unlucky, but great goalkeeping from Di Gregorio after earlier making that mistake.
Yeah, what chance, Patrick, for Inter.
The corner very nearly did the trick, given away by Miretti. Bastoni takes a tumble. Kalulu is going to be sent off here for a second yellow card. And whatever he says, it cannot be changed by the VAR. It's 2 yellow cards. Juventus down to 10. He'd had 1 yellow card all season. He's had a further 2 in 41 minutes here.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible couple of minutes. Now we're going to see again the foul, yes, but I think you cannot complain about this second yellow, because you can see here, yes, Bastoni is doing the job that every single probably player would do. Going down easily, but you can see that Kalulu is trying to grab Bastoni jersey here.
Is that a yellow card, Manuel? Be honest.
Live, I would say yes. Now watching the replay, doesn't look like it is.
He puts his arm out, he pulls it away. Bastoni's already diving forward, and then we see Bastoni celebrating a red card for the opposition.
That I know from the first replay live looked like it was a yellow card 100%. Now watching the replay is not. I agree with the views. And here we can see the chance. Great header, good save. And here Locatelli with his chest saving the second goal for the Nerazzurri. You can see from this angle as well. Look here, Locatelli. Post. That was the turning moment there, then a couple of seconds after. Great header by Thuram, too central.
Di Gregorio saw it late, but he kept it out. Then Locatelli against one post, it ricocheted off another. Pierre Kalulu is reluctantly making his way off here. Christian Kivu's got something to say, but certainly Kalulu took a chance by putting his arm out. What we can see from the replay is that Bastoni seemed to already be on his way to ground when he made contact. Mattia Perin is trying to plead Juventus' case with Daniele Doveri. And this is something that you and I have had conversations with privately with Gianluca Rocchi, the Italian referees chief, namely that they are considering including wrongly given yellow cards within the scope of VAR, because it can cause a red card.
They have to. They can change the whole game, the whole season as well.
Barella. Luis Enrique. It's a corner, I think, unless Di Gregorio kept it in play. He did.
Yeah, but to be fair, Kalulu, knowing that he's already on a yellow card, he has to be more careful, because there is giving the referee a chance, no, to give him the second yellow card. And now on the other side, Bastoni has to be careful.
Here's Conceição up against Bastoni. Back for McKennie. Locatelli. Yildiz. Losing the ball. Lautaro runs it clear. Locatelli wins it back. Then fouled by Lautaro on the ground, who handled it.
Good job here by Locatelli, yes. Here, as usual, great tussle in between the two skippers, competing for the ball. And the referee spotting Lautaro, handball.
Oh, what a game. It's always a lot of tension and emotions when it comes to this particular fixture. So much riding on this game for Inter to stay ahead in the title race, for Juventus Champions League football potentially next season. Spalletti won't like it when he sees that clip of Kalulu's second yellow card. But equally, when everything happens so quickly and the modern game is so fast, the referee has one look at it and instinctively pulled out a yellow card. Sucic away from Locatelli, kept in play for Lautaro. Di Marco now, Thuram, Barella. Inter overplaying on the edge of the box. Bisek, Barella, Akanji. Barella now, chance for him to shoot, it's deflected, and Cambiaso has to head it away. Yildiz stops the concession of a corner. Great work from Yildiz.
Yeah, you said it, overplayed too many times. They had the chance maybe to strike from distance. They've got the players that can do it. And here Kivu probably he's gonna took Bastoni off, considering that he's on a yellow card.
Something that Simone Inzaghi used to do frequently.
Has been ruled out for offside. The flag is up and it won't count. So Szoboszlai, and that's the right decision as well. There's an arm just ahead of the Brighton man. Only just though. Very tight indeed. Cody Gakpo's close range header is chalked off by the referee's assistant. Great delivery from Szoboszlai. And there was 5 or 6 Brighton players all got their arm up, and rightly so. But he has got it right, and of course no intervention of VAR this evening. Did have controversy in the Aston Villa-Newcastle game where there was a possible penalty that could have been given to Newcastle United. A player was brought down inside the box, but it was given as a free kick, and that's when of course VAR would have intervened and given the right decision. Here is Canate, but the right decision was made on that occasion, that's for sure. There's the long ball over the Brighton back line. Liverpool could be in. Salah's in here. Chance for Salah. Oh, he shot it straight at the keeper. What a chance for Mo Salah. Well, if ever you bank on somebody in that goal-scoring position, he got the better of the Brighton man. Kadioglu rolled himself into the penalty area, and then he fluffed it with his left foot, hit it so tame, straight into the keeper. Jason Steele's hands. And well, that's a big chance for Liverpool, and Mo Salah knows it. Did everything right, got ahead of the Brighton defender, brushed him off, got into the area down the right hand side. He's 8 yards out, but his low left-footed shot straight into the arms of Steele, and he just didn't get the connection on it that he would have wanted. And so Brighton survive another day. Here is Gakpo, goes down. That'll be a free kick to Liverpool inside their own half, but you feel the way they are motoring forward now. McAllister with the ball over the top. Kirkes could catch Brighton in. He's in here into the air. Kirkes with a shot. Oh, brilliant save from Verbruggen to tip the ball over the bar. Well, it was McAllister this time who dinked the ball over there. It was a quick free kick over the back of the Brighton defence. Kirkes takes it on the chest into the area. He's still got a lot to do on the half volley. Bang with his left foot. But that is a brilliant save by Verbruggen. Sorry, not Verbruggen, was it Jason Steele to tip the ball over the bar. Superb save by the Brighton keeper, denying Liverpool a chance there. So Liverpool will have a corner from this right-hand side. Mo Salah will take it with the left foot. In it goes towards the near post. Look at equalizer. It deflects off the Brighton man, and it goes behind for a corner to Liverpool. Oh, Jason Steele, that is a marvellous save with the right hand to tip the ball over the bar. It really is, to keep his side in it. But it will be another corner to Liverpool. Salah again with the left foot. In it goes. Canate's up there, still scrambling about. And in the end, Stuart Atwell, the referee, has seen something, and he has given a free kick to Brighton. But Mo Salah, a perfect delivery with his left foot. Canate got up there, but as he got up, he pushed Baliba, and that is a free kick to Brighton. And so Jason Steele will boot the ball clear over to that left-hand channel. And he has kept Brighton in it, no doubt, with that save from Milos Kirkes. Really was a flying half-volley shot, arrowing towards the far right corner, but super save from Jason Steele. Here is Van Hecke then for Brighton. He's under pressure from Cody Gakpo. Well, Liverpool are the team in the ascendancy at the moment. Now the side pressing all the buttons. They just haven't been able to find the right one. And when they have found a possible solution, well, Jason Steele has been in the way. Here's Van Hecke for Brighton. Out to that left-hand side to Kadioglu. Plays it into the midriff of Hinshelwood. First time ball over to that right-hand side. Brighton might have an attack here, but in the end, Alisson will collect it. Plays it out to the left of Van Dijk. He hoists it left-footed over that left-hand channel. Wirtz takes under control. He goes down. That'll be a free kick there to Liverpool, and that'll be another yellow card for Brighton. Well, they really are chalking up these yellows so far. That's the third one they've had already in the opening 40 minutes of this game. And the next one on the collection is Carlos Baliba, who was actually booked in midweek as well. 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa. So, he of course has got that. And just seeing amongst the Brighton supporters, there is actually somebody dressed as a seagull. I've never seen that before. Absolutely brilliant. He's got an actual seagull outfit on. Seagull head and everything. Great to see. He's got a nice warm coat as well. Whether he's the club mascot, I don't know. But in the meantime, Liverpool come forward. On the right-hand side, Salah returns it back to Chiesa, who shoots, and it's cleared away by Van Hecke. And they're getting warmer, Liverpool. That was another opportunity there. Well, it started with, once again, that very, very quick free kick taken over to that right-hand side. It was Szoboszlai who just hit a diagonal over to that right, Chiesa. And again, it was Salah who teed up Chiesa. His right foot shot was diverted clear by the Brighton defender. A real chance there as we approach the break. 41 minutes on the clock. You're listening to live audio match commentary here. Liverpool 0, Brighton 0. Liverpool have scored! And it's Curtis Jones on the end of it. Milos Kerkez with a cross from the left. And in goes Curtis Jones from close range to knock it into the roof of the net. Well, the goal has been coming. And now it's fully arrived. It's Liverpool 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 0 in this FA Cup 4th round tie. They've been knocking on the Brighton door. Well, now they've found a way through. Well, Milos Kerkez with a beautiful first-time cross from the left after Cody Gakpo had won a challenge to get the ball out to him. Great cross into the 6-yard area, and Curtis Jones does what the rest and knocks it in with his right foot. It's a very accomplished finish. It's on a plate for Curtis Jones, really. Kerkez makes it with a cross. Curtis Jones finishes it with his right foot into the back of the net. Liverpool 1, Brighton 0. 42 minutes on the clock. And Brighton getting a little bit frustrated here. Pascal Gross has just gone through the back of Milos Kerkez. Stuart Atwell, I think he's going to get the cards out again, is he here? Well, tempers are certainly afray. I mean, you can feel that Brighton really are feeling a bit of frustration. It was Kerkez eventually, and it was actually Arne Slot that had to intervene. Kerkez and Veltman it was, the two players who got themselves in a little bit of a pickle after a late challenge from the Brighton man, and Stuart Atwell's going to have to sort this out now. He's just having words with the two players. Blows the whistle. Looks like he's going to leave it at that, just a talking to for the two defenders. Of course, the referee will collect the ball, and Brighton had the possession at the time, so the ball will go back to Brighton in possession. Here is Van Hecke. Clips the ball down the right-hand channel. Liverpool clear it away, but only as far as Baliba. Wants to roll it through into Costules, who has hardly had a touch really in this game. Getting a bit of a touch now though. He's got the ball out to the right-hand side. Lovely back heel. Here's Veltman. Lovely ball inside. Chance here for Costules. Lovely skill from him, and he's won a corner. Well, he's been quiet for the majority of this first half. So have Brighton really, in terms of creating opportunities. And they've got themselves a corner here. A chance maybe just before the break to get themselves on level terms and change the trajectory of this game. A corner from this right-hand side. What can Brighton make of this? It's going to be taken by Harry Howell with the left foot. An in-swinging delivery. And it goes, looking for a header. Oh, and it's over the bar from Pascal Gross. What a chance for Brighton that was. Well, it looks like he was free there. He was. Came in completely unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box. And he heads it over the bar. What a chance there for the Brighton defender in midfield. And he knows it. Real chance. It might have been Hinchelwood, actually. that got there ahead of Pascal Gross. There was two of them. Yes, it was. Seeing it again, it was actually Hinshelwood that got there. But he could only head the ball over the bar, could the 20-year-old midfielder. And, of course, he only made his Premier League debut back in the 22-23 season. One club man so far in his early days with Brighton. He's not even gone on loan anywhere. He's broke through, and he's certainly doing. But Liverpool could be in trouble. Chance for the equaliser. Oh, saved by the legs of Alisson. Gomez was in there down the left-hand side of the area, and he tried to just slot it with the outside of his right boot, but Alisson was having none of that, and he saves it with his legs. But that's a big chance for Brighton again. Two in a matter of minutes, and they could have been level here. They've hardly laid a glove on that Liverpool goal for the majority of this first half, but then all of a sudden a free header over the bar from Hinshelwood, and now Gomez with a gaping chance one-on-one with Alisson on that left-hand side, but he just doesn't get the shot clean, and it was the outside of his right boot straight into the legs of Alisson. He spun off the Liverpool defender, and Van Dijk tried to get back, but he couldn't. And in the end, Alisson did well and saved with his legs. But what a opportunity that could have been. And so we are now in first half stoppage time. We've played the 2 minutes that were on the clock to be played, so it's whatever Stuart Atwell feels needs to be added on. Liverpool will have a throw on this far right hand side, and that in fact is the final piece of the half. Well, Liverpool take the lead going in at the break. Curtis Jones slotted home from close range after Milos Kerkez had drilled the ball across with just a couple of minutes to go until the break. It's been all Liverpool in truth, but then having said that, Brighton had two chances in the final stages of the first half. Gomez missing a one-on-one, hitting it straight at the legs of Alisson, and Hinshelwood flashing a header over the bar. Could have all been different, but it's Liverpool that have the lead. Liverpool
Welcome back out to the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza. 75,500 fans in attendance for what will always be an iconic fixture. This might go down as an infamous one. Inter 1, Juventus 1, the half-time score. And a couple of substitutions on the way for the second half. Conceição taken off for Emil Holm for 10-man Juventus after Pierre Kalulu was dismissed late on in the first half. A second yellow card for catching Alessandro Bastoni. There was talk of Bastoni not coming out for the second half either, and confirmation that Carlos Augusto has replaced him, so Christian Chivu making sure that Bastoni, who was booked early on, didn't get sent off himself. It will remain 11 v 10. Chivu's side would now love to go on and make the most of this advantage. Inter will play 11 against 10 for 45 minutes, seeking a winning goal to take them 8 points clear at the Serie summit. Manuel Pascali, we've had a further 15 minutes to reflect on the big decision from the first half. Was it a second yellow card,
No.
yes or no?
Not watching the replay, it's not a second yellow card for Kalulu. Live looked like it was a foul, but we got the modern technology. And now Juventus will set up with a kind of 4-4-1 with McKennie. They will play right winger. David will be along by himself up front. Ildis on the left. Conceição was the player that was creating Inter so many problems in the first half.
In light of this new match situation, does 1-1 and a draw now become a great result for Juventus?
Yeah, of course it will be. And Spalletti will look to try to keep the score like this, and maybe opportunity from set piece, corner, and they will take maybe to try to get the most of it.
Akanji expected to be into dominating possession in this second half. Carlos Augusto. Sucic. Lautaro, left by Bisek. In by Luis Enrique for Marcus Thuram. Had to generate the power.
Second chance for the French striker with his header. The first half, he had the one saved by Di Gregorio. This one too high, great ball in by Luis Enrique.
50% win rate for Spalletti during his time with Inter. That doesn't necessarily tell the whole story, that statistic. Spalletti took over an Inter side that hadn't qualified for the Champions League for 6 years in a row. Seems a crazy idea now, given they've been to 2 Champions League finals recently. Spalletti got top 4 finishes in both of his campaigns before being moved on for Antonio Conte. Conte was runners-up the first year behind Maurizio Sarri's Juventus. That remains Juventus' most recent Scudetto, 2019-20. Then Conte won Inter's 19th domestic title a year later. And Inter have since added one more under Simone Inzaghi. Sucic. Di Marco, Barella. Lautaro going down under challenge with Bremer. This is Akanji. Luis Enrique. Time and space for Bisek. Away by Kelly, but Juventus have no outball in this second half.
Yeah, they will try to defend for the next 40+ minutes, and then maybe try to hit in transition Inter, but they don't have real pace up front. They have to feed Ildis, and maybe it creates something, the chance they will look for.
Akanji, left by Barella. It's back for Thuram from Barella. It might break here for an Inter player. Hurried clearance from Locatelli. And Juventus will need to keep calm if they're not to be breached early on here in this second half.
Yeah, they have to be solid, they have to be focused. McKennie will give even Spalletti the option to defend with the back 5 line.
Carlos Augusto. Akanji. Over the top it goes for Barella. Too much on it, and easy for Di Gregorio.
And that's what Inter doesn't have to do, no force things. They have to stay calm, looking for decent passes in.
Miretti running away from Barella. On it goes for Yildiz. He wanted it into the space. Instead, it was into his feet. Now, in to get numbers behind the ball. Cambiaso. Yildiz. McKennie in the middle. Juventus trying to get a rest in with this possession. The longer they keep the ball, the more seconds will go by as well. And we know Inter have lots of target men. Thuram can hold it up, Lautaro too, plus the likes of Boni and Esposito to come on the bench. How much of a miss is it for Juventus, the fact that Dusan Vlahovic is injured at the moment? They can't necessarily have someone up there to knock it long to.
Yeah, correct, Patrick, because David is a completely different striker.
Cambiaso, great run this. Still going, Cambiaso. Wonderful work from him. And McKennie now didn't go for goal. Still a chance, saved by Sommer to deny Miretti. McKennie again, and Sommer makes the save. Juventus with a host of chances.
Yeah, incredible, Patrick, but why did McKennie not hit from that distance? Is incredible. Here, hit it first touch, instead of trying to feed David. And here, this is a good first save by Sommer, and another decent one here. Big risk for Inter.
And looking at that, you'd think it was Inter that were down to 10 and Juventus playing with 11. A reminder, an opportunity for Inter tonight to get their first big win in a 6-pointer this season. Bisek away from Miretti. Bisek tried to cross it. Kelly with a fine challenge. And Bisek will be yellow carded, I expect, for that. Cynical foul on Kelly, just a free kick.
Yeah, this is a yellow card, but what a chance for McKennie, Patrick. And I don't know how, he's in a great form, he's finding the net often from there. And this is, yes, there is a contact in between Kalulu left hand and Bastoni, but it's a light one. Maybe we can say that Kalulu has been a bit naive.
Kalulu was naive. What do you make of Bastoni's reaction?
Of course, I can see the pressure they've got. So sometimes celebrate. It's not a nice thing to see, celebrating for a player being sent off. But we've seen so many times players celebrating for a penalty being given or this kind of situation. But this tells you a lot about the pressure that Inter is having, especially after, I think, last season, where they reached every single, they went so close to win everything, but they lost everything.
So that's his emotional reaction. What about the physical reaction to the actual contact of the challenge?
We say that probably the Kalulu was naive. Here, I would say that probably was clever Bastoni, but it's far away from being fair play, to be fair.
Barella, Di Marco. Barella, good-looking ball in. Di Gregorio comes to claim. Inter have the luxury now of making changes to try and win the game. Juventus will possibly make substitutions to try and hold firm. Now, Barella was a booking away from suspension. He won't play any part in the trip to Lecce next weekend.
Yeah, he's just back from injury. And now he's been booked for this foul on Locatelli in transition.
I think we can safely say here that this probably was a slightly harsh yellow card.
Yeah, it was. It was probably the result of the first half mistake, probably. And now, Calhanoglu back.
And Calhanoglu was already stripped and ready to go. I imagine he was coming on for Barella in any case, so Barella was seconds away from missing out on that suspension.
Telling you, Patrick, maybe part of a plan.
Be careful what you say.
I've been a footballer when I was young.
Certainly puzza un po'. The timing is a little bit suspicious. Barella gets booked and comes off moments later. Calhanoglu, such an important player for Inter and will be in the latter stages of this match as well. With his set-piece delivery, with his ability to shoot from distance, Juventus are likely to sit deep to try and hang on to this 1-1 scoreline, and that will only provide scope for Çalhanoğlu to shoot from distance. We mentioned Lautaro's underwhelming goal record in this fixture. Çalhanoğlu's been great in the big games, scores against Napoli, scores against Milan. Di Marco's cross, we've seen him find the net against Juventus as well. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, he remains Inter's idolo nero-blue. Luis Enrique with the trickery. Cambiaso using his body. Yildiz, Miretti, calmly done by the Bianconeri.
Yeah, great quality by Juventus. And this substitution will take Zielinski even more closer to the Juventus box. We know he's another player that can strike from distance.
Carlos Augusto. A reminder, as things stand, Inter would be going 6 clear of Milan, albeit having played a game more. Milan will get that game in hand on Wednesday here against Como. The reason that match wasn't played last weekend as scheduled is because we had the opening ceremony of the Milan Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics, which are ongoing across a number of satellite sites. Cortina, Livigno, Predazzo, Anterselva as well. Lots of glamorous mountain locations. Di Marco with the cross, Bremer heads it clear. Luis Enrique finding Çalhanoğlu. Zielinski gets it back from Sucic. Zielinski in by Carlos Augusto, came off Luis Enrique. The Brazilian then improvised. Here's the Turkey international, Kenan Yildiz, who recently committed his future to Juventus, staying with the club at least in terms of his contract expiring until 2030. Kelly kept it in play. Locatelli finds Yildiz. Great pressing from Inter. They've won it back. Lautaro with the nutmeg. Miretti took a chance. Çalhanoğlu has it. He was fouled by Cambiaso, who needs to be careful about getting a card for dissent.
I don't know why he's complaining, because look like he's a foul on an Inter player, but look like Juventus are defending really. Yes, there is a touch in between Cambiaso and Çalhanoğlu. I think look like Juventus are pretty much comfortable from defending from this kind of situation. There is a touch from Cambiaso, but I don't think it's just normal phase of game.
Çalhanoğlu with the set piece. Well done, Bremer, keeping tabs on Akanji. Time for Juan Cabal shortly. We saw Jagrova as well taking off his stadium jacket, perhaps just to warm up. Carlos Augusto, Zielinski, and again Çalhanoğlu, Zielinski. Cambiaso has time to control it. Caught by Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah, we've seen Cabal there as well. Left back, got great legs going forward. Spalletti can play him as a left back and move forward. Cambiaso.
Carlos Augusto tracking back. Sommer came out to the blade of grass where he made that mistake for Morale's goal here against Pisa. And Kivu's lost his touch from the looks of things.
And that's why he went along, he went safe.
McKennie just unable to keep it in play. There was a possible opportunity there for Juventus. It should be said that going down to 10 men is not a guarantee that you'll necessarily win or lose the game. One of Inter's most glorious results came down to 10 men. It was typically actually a defeat on the night against Barcelona in the Camp Nou, but they won the first leg of the Champions League semi-final in 2010, 3-1. Thiago Motta sent off early for catching Sergio Busquets, and Inter lost that game 1-0. Luis Enrique crosses overhead. Holm made sure it didn't reach Di Marco. Good defending from Emil Holm.
Yeah, recently Atalanta against Como played the whole game 10 against 11. They grabbed the point.
And they had that late penalty save from Marco Carnesecchi to deny Nico pass. An hour gone here at the Meazza. Inter on the front foot, understandably, with an extra man, Di Marco. Akanji to Ram, couldn't force his way through. Locatelli bundled over by Çalhanoğlu.
And that's the difference, Patrick. You know, we said it in the first half. Inter doesn't have players on the wide areas that you can give the ball to and they go pass and create things. Juve got more, and Locatelli using his experience.
In which case, we mentioned that Inter have the sort of players Juventus could do with now up front to hold the ball up. Could Inter do with some of that Juventus trickery, or, because it's 11v10, can they just keep moving the ball quickly and create that overload?
I think, yes, they can create the overload on the wide areas, but in the last 16 meters, you have to have somebody that can beat your opponent. Or Inter will try to every time go wide and put a decent ball in for the players they've got in the box.
Cabal comes on, so too Cope Mainers. Jonathan David and Fabio Miretti taken off. And the other factor we have to consider when it comes to that Kalulu second yellow card is how avoidable it all was. It stemmed from a sloppy pass from Fabio Miretti.
Correct, yeah. Correct, Patrick. And now Juventus will play with fake 9. That is Yildiz.
Akanji. Now Lautaro with time and space. Holm on the stretch, taking the ball away. Di Marco nearly inadvertently played it into Cambiaso. This is Jan Pisek. Now Luis Enrique had to slam on the brakes. Di Marco with his right foot, and it showed.
Yeah, now Juventus obviously will try to feed Yildiz in his feet. Look, maybe Cambiaso as well, who is a player that can drive the ball for 30-40 yards, and here a great sliding tackle by Holm.
Emil Holm, a recent recruit, along with Jeremy Boga. Juventus dipping into the market in January. Inter didn't feel the need to do so. See, Locatelli there was unhappy with Holm's decision to throw the ball at that particular height to Bremer. Juventus have no margin for error now. Locatelli's caught Zielinski in the face, but Inter keep the ball. Çalhanoğlu, Cabal able to intercept. Cope Mainers knocked over by Thuram. Juan Cabal, one back by Sucic. Thuram pokes it into touch.
Yeah, you can see Inter are forcing things, forcing passes. They have to stay calm. You mentioned Boga, it can be a solution later on in the match, maybe in a false 9 position. We will see. Kivo on the other side got plenty of options from the bench.
Juventus have thrown it long and thrown the ball away. Juventus need to try and strike the balance between conserving energy, maybe just having enough about them to catch Inter out. Lest we forget, the biggest chance of the second half came to Juventus, and there were several waves of that attack.
Kind of triple chance.
Çalhanoğlu. Zielinski, Kivu urging his side forward from his technical area. Di Marco now. Çalhanoğlu, Sucic. Çalhanoğlu, when do we see him shooting from range? Di Marco with the cross. Di Gregorio came and gathered.
Too easy. Look like Juventus are very comfortable to defend from crosses.
Cabal's ball forward. Cope Mainers is after it. Akanji finds his goalkeeper. No one helping Yildiz with the press. So easy for Inter to transition into midfield. Zielinski, Di Marco. Çalhanoğlu considered the shot. No one getting wide. Now Luis Enrique provides an option. Çalhanoğlu feeding it through for Thuram. Bremer stayed tight. Sucic recycles it for Luis Enrique. Akanji. Carlos Augusto away from Locatelli. Now Di Marco takes over. Juventus have survived the first 20 minutes of the second half. Still 25 for them to try and cling on. Di Marco. Inter have lots of time. Saw what they could do with it against Pisa, but Juventus a different level of opposition. Sucic with the ball in. Locatelli away, McKennie straight to Akanji. Di Marco. Will be a corner.
Too slow, Patrick, from Inter. They're moving the ball, yes, side to side. From my opinion, Di Marco on one side and Luis Enrique on the other side has to stay wider, and now substitution. Kivu is asking for them.
Might soon be time for Pio Esposito. Or perhaps Boni. It is going to be Pio, and with him Juve. So Luis Enrique withdrawn. Juve is arguably the one Inter player that's best at gliding past opponents when he dribbles. Slight shake of the head from Manuel Pascali. He'll give me his thoughts in due course. Sucic, the other player, coming off. But one thing is for sure, Inter have a corner. They have another aerial threat in the shape of Pio Esposito.
Three for three, more or less. Three strikers up front.
Di Marco with the corner. Bremer away. This is Çalhanoğlu. Çalhanoğlu! Top save from Di Gregorio. Di Marco meantime, home with the block. We saw Çalhanoğlu score a couple of stunners in the reverse fixture.
Great shot, great power, great save by Di Gregorio. Redeemed himself this occasion. Now we will see if the three Inter strikers will play close to each other, or maybe will be Thuram the one that will go wider.
Carlos Augusto delivers. Bremer straight up in the air. Carlos Augusto wins the header. Di Marco. Zielinski. Back for Akanji. He steps in. Bisek keeps it moving. Juve. Çalhanoğlu tries again. It was deflected. Kenan Yildiz just poked it forward, hopefully. Juventus boxed in now, they're beginning to tire. Zielinski with the cross. Esposito's header is easy for Di Gregorio.
Yeah, good defending again. Resilient by Juventus. 23 minutes to go, and here Pio Esposito meeting the ball in the air, too weak. And here Di Gregorio save is a very good one, because he's got so many bodies in front of him.
Unsighted, the ball was swerving and dipping as well from Çalhanoğlu. That usual ball flight we're used to seeing from him. Holm away from Lautaro Martinez. Wes McKennie now. Holm wants it through. McKennie played it up the line rather than through the middle.
Great race, great pace, both Holm and Carlos Augusto.
Zielinski. Inter fans making themselves heard now, trying to inspire the Nerazzurri to another victory. Won 5 in a row across all competitions since that loss to Arsenal in the Champions League. Juve. Lautaro Martinez for Çalhanoğlu. Zielinski. Getting into taking their time. This is Di Marco. He teases it in. Kelly away, brought down by Cambiaso. Cabal forward, but again, there's no one beyond Yildiz.
Yeah, but that's where Inter needs somebody more in the box at the back post area from this kind of deliver from Di Marco, because Bisek could have joined Lautaro and Pio Esposito.
Di Marco, Zielinski, Di Marco with a dangerous cross, nearly ran for Pio Esposito, he took his eye off it. Yildiz, Holm, Yildiz wants it back, Holm goes up the line for McKennie, trying to run past Carlos Augusto here. Wes McKennie needs some support. McKennie's done really well, still going McKennie, bounced up off Bisek. Cambiaso asking for a penalty. McKennie went down with the initial challenge. Di Marco meantime in to go the other way. Lautaro Martinez, Juventus are short-handed at the back. Lautaro, Esposito, Kelly with the block. Second wave with Zielinski. Di Marco, Zielinski, Locatelli's won it back, and again McKennie playing centre forward. The whistle's gone for offside against Wes McKennie.
Yeah, but what a game is Locatelli having, fantastic there. And here the challenge, we're gonna see if there is a contact in between McKennie and Carlos Augusto. No contact.
Juve, Çalhanoğlu, Thuram, away from Holm, past Locatelli, Marcus Thuram! We've seen him do it before.
In the derby. Yeah, he played in that position before in Germany as a left winger. He tried to curl the effort, no far away. So it's something that Kivo's got now in the last 20 minutes. He's the player that can go past opponents, not far away.
Marcus Thuram scored in his first two editions of the Milan derby. That fixture is on the horizon. Comes up at the second week of March, the other side of Inter's Coppa Italia semi-final first leg at the Senigallia against Como. Second leg of that tie comes 7 weeks later. Juve. Sloppy. Çalhanoğlu did well to make sure it didn't reach Yildiz, because there was a potential counter for Juventus there. Marcus Thuram, again using Di Marco's run. Zielinski, Çalhanoğlu, Çalhanoğlu bypasses Akanji. Bisek, and again Andy Juve. Great feet from Juve, but then he takes it beyond the byline.
Yeah, he did so well to beat Cabal. Then he had the chance to play a decent ball in, but clearly they fancy him to go in on his right foot. That's why probably in here again the marvelous save from Di Gregorio, because it's a very, very strong and firm shot by Çalhanoğlu.
And it was swerving considerably, really moved away from Di Gregorio as well as dipping. And it's not easy to keep tabs on these balls. Just ask Emil Aldero of Cremonese, who was completely bamboozled by a Zielinski shot recently at the Zini. And Inter's 2-0 victory there. Lautaro was the other goal scorer. Here is Zielinski. Now Di Marco. Thuram takes over. Çalhanoğlu. Cope Mainers is there. Cambiaso lost it. McKennie retrieved. Yildiz for Bremer. Doing a good job, Juventus, in difficult circumstances. But the tide is with Inter. It's whether they can make it count here. Juve. Zielinski. Bisek delivers. Kelly heads it behind for a corner.
Yeah, they are missing a player in the last 16 meters that can go past a Conceição type and this, and it's clear now, but now they got a chance from a corner with all the big boys inside the box. And Çalhanoğlu is back now.
So they have deadly delivery from both sides. Outswingers on both sides. Çalhanoğlu with the corner. Koopmeiners straight to Zielinski. Zielinski! Di Gregorio had it covered.
Yeah, first touch was not perfect as usual from the former Napoli, Udinese and Empoli player. And now another substitution.
No, Holm came on as the second half substitute. Probably. It's Jeremy Boga, indeed, replacing Kenan Yildiz. It's very rare you'd see Yildiz withdrawn, but Spalletti requires pace and fresh legs. You can see him consoling there. Yildiz, who became Juventus' youngest ever captain earlier on this season when he took the armband for a game at Verona. If he fulfills his new contract, he'll be playing in the black and white stripes until 2030. Akanji's ball back to Sommer. Locatelli got up early, on by Koopmeiners. Akanji away. Bremer too strong for Esposito. Kelly keeping Thuram quiet. Kivu's moving as much as his players down there in the technical area.
And now Inter with Boga, no? With the Juventus playing with Boga front, they've got something different to face. Tricky player, quick, direct. They can beat 2 or 3 opponents as well.
Di Marco, Esposito! This is his biggest goal so far in Inter colours. The golden boy Pio Esposito making his mark in the Derby d'Italia just as Inter was struggling.
It's something special. As Di Marco left foot, incredible ball in, inch perfect, but this boy, he feed it well in the box, can score goals, and now Inter are step closer, maybe, to the 21st Scudetto of their history.
As things stand, Inter lead by 2-1. They're going 8 clear at the Serie A summit. Di Marco for Esposito. A goal made in the Inter Academy.
The biggest mistake, in my opinion, here is made by Kelly. He has to realize that if Esposito is far better than Locatelli in the air, you got no man. Go and help your skipper, because the number 94 is gonna beat Locatelli every single day with the header.
Kivu celebrates, the Inter bench up on their feet to acclaim Pio Esposito. 6 goals now this season across all competitions, 4 in Serie A. And whereas the previous ones were against the likes, with the greatest respect, of Cagliari, Venezia in the Cup, Lecce and Pisa, now it's Juventus against whom Pio scores.
Yeah, but the player that is making the difference for Inter is Di Marco.
Holm with the delivery, Boga beaten to it by Bisek. That's now 14 assists for Federico Di Marco. I think it's twice more than any other player.
Incredible. And you know, the players in the box knows that, but now Juventus got a chance from set piece as well, and they scored so many goals this season.
Openda has come on in the meantime. In by Boga. Sommer punches it clear. Çalhanoğlu's after it. Locatelli too in pursuit. Locatelli saying he was caught there. Free kick to Juventus, I believe. And a yellow card as well for Hakan Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah, there was good defensive display by Sommer between a couple of bodies, punching the ball away in the race in between not the quickest players on the planet, but Locatelli reached first, and here from this angle we can appreciate it again. Great ball in, but wonderful header.
So Inter will be without both Barella and Çalhanoğlu for the trip to Lecce. Locatelli's free kick on by McKennie. Akanji's there, but this is Boga. Tried to find Koopmeiners. Juve's won it back. 2v2 here. Di Marco racing forward as well. Anti-Juve for Di Marco. He's blaming the pitch.
Usually from there he goes with his laces or the outside of his foot. He went for safety with inside of his left boot and wasted the chance to kill the game. Or maybe he was going to try to feed in the middle of the box.
Long by Kelly. Juventus have had to now stretch themselves to try and score what would be a second equaliser of the night. There's going to be more space for Inter. But the hard goal for the Nerazzurri was scoring that second one. And that's why Pio Esposito's so highly rated. That's why he's a fan's favourite here. And above all, that's why he was named to Gattuso's September squad for Italy before even making his Serie A debut. After that impressive campaign in the second tier last season on loan at Spezia. Jeremy Boga, former teammate of Locatelli's at Sassuolo. We're into the final 10. And Manuel, the hope is that after this match we'll be talking as much, if not more, about Esposito's potential winning goal as we do about the sending off dismissal in the first half. Holm with the cross. Çalhanoğlu's header was unorthodox, seemed to hit the back of his head.
Yeah.
Calmly done by Di Marco. Thuram running away from Openda, who didn't let up the chase. Still Marcus Thuram, too strong for Openda, and Thuram's been penalised there. I thought it was the other way around.
I agree with you, Patrick. Strong play by Thuram here. I don't know. This is an harsh one against number 9. Who knows it? And a booking for the Inter manager.
Christian Kivu said rather pointedly in the lead up to this game that he's paid to find solutions, not to grumble or complain about refereeing decisions. He also said that he'll start commenting on referees once he sees coaches come out and apologise for decisions that favour their side. So there is an opportunity for him after this match. Boga, Cabal in support. It's Cope Mayners meantime. Holm couldn't stretch. Spalletti has his head in his hands. McKennie with the driven ball, too close to Sommer.
Yeah, Di Marco was trying to feed Esposito on his feet. Number 94 was looking for a ball in behind.
We have had late drama in this fixture. Who can forget mid-September, round 3, the reverse fixture, when Acic scored an added time winner for Juventus. Di Marco held up by Holm. He can't believe he hasn't got the decision just yet. We play on. Lautaro Martinez. There was an advantage for Inter. Thuram, Locatelli played the ball. Thuram's gone down, but Juventus can counter with Jeremy Boga, but they're outnumbered, the Bianconeri. Boga was looking for Openda. In to have it with Lautaro. Turning away from Bremer. He got the ball. Locatelli. McKennie. Locatelli has Boga in support. Locatelli away from Zielinski. This is Bremer. McKennie now. Locatelli! It's astonishing! The Juventus captain pulls an equaliser out of nowhere. And the 10-man Bianconeri just keep on fighting.
Patrick, I was thinking, what a game is having this man. Even in 10-man Juventus, he was bossing in the field. As a captain, went up front, and after a layoff by McKennie, I think, found the net and leveled the game for Juventus. Patrick, this is why we love football.
Never more appropriate, Manuel Pascali's catchphrase on St. Valentine's Day. This is why we love football. Bremer winning it back. They'll have a look at that challenge. But Locatelli, who once scored a winning goal here for Juventus against his former club Milan, might now have secured a point for the Bianconeri with that finish.
Incredible, incredible, but this game is not surprising us anymore. Every time, the last 3 games between these two teams, 16 goals, now 4 more, means 20 in the last 4. You cannot say anymore the Italian football is boring.
It's anything but that. Manuel Locatelli, once of Milan, now the Juventus captain. And we should say that Inter are still favourites to win this match with 5.5 minutes of the 90 remaining plus added time. They have 11 players to Juventus's 10, but Spalletti's side battling away, looking for what would be a heroic point at this stage. They've twice come from behind. Bisek with the cross, Esposito attacked it, that was Bremer's header clear. Now Juan Cabal under pressure. Cabal's gone down easily, but he's won a free kick. And Manuel, you and I watched a game recently here that Kivu's side drew 2-2 against Napoli. They led twice in that match as well. It ended 2-2.
Yep, there's something they're missing, because you have to kill the game. You know, we know Juventus, they know Spalletti. They got something, no, it's in their DNA now. Boni on for Thuram, but you cannot lose the ball twice in that way. Lautaro last as well.
One Frenchman for another. It's the more junior partner, Antoine Boni. Luciano Spalletti knows that 4.5 minutes are likely to have at least 5 minutes of added time, probably on top of that. Looking at 10 minutes for Juventus to try and not concede again. Di Marco's ball up the line. Into touch it goes. Kivu's rediscovered his first touch. Wonderful piece of control. But this is a result which would benefit Milan in terms of the title race, Napoli in terms of both the race for Champions League football with Juventus a rival for the top 4, and indeed maybe the reigning champions to try and force their way back into the Scudetto conversation. A reminder, tomorrow night it's the Derby del Sole at the Maradona. Napoli-Roma. Esposito's given it to Cabal, who has fresher legs than many of those Inter players. He's only got a Pender to look for. Instead he finds Boga. All of a sudden Juventus carrying a thread. Just shows the importance of resilience and belief. Whatever work Spalletti's done with them on the training ground technically has been matched by what they've done psychologically. That was nearly a good ball from McKennie for Hull.
Even the physical condition of Juventus players. Look, McKennie's running everywhere.
Zielinski. Inter can still break Juventus' hearts on St. Valentine's Day. Di Marco delivers. It's broken for Juve. Lautaro for Çalhanoğlu. Tried to place it.
They was expect to receive maybe the ball on his right foot. Good decision, the Lautaro one. And here he went for safety as well with the inside of his left foot. Easy catch for Di Gregorio.
Good awareness from Lautaro. He would have certainly got the shout from Hakan Çalhanoğlu, but Manuel Pascali, you'd be able to tell me whether you can necessarily hear a player's cry even from a couple of yards away when there's 75,000 people in a stadium. I know you had your cup finals at Hampden Park. Here's Boni. Given away to Boga. Doesn't want to lose the ball there, but he keeps it. How easy is it for you to hear teammates when the stadium is full and it's rocking?
Yeah, no, it's not easy. Probably Lautaro spotted him earlier, I guess.
Federico Di Marco, no surprise that Inter are looking to him to provide another killer ball. 14 assists this season for him in the league alone. Boni. Back for Zielinski. Di Marco measures across. Bisek is there! Great save again from Di Gregorio.
I think now the Juventus fan will be happy with the Di Gregorio performance so far.
Di Marco's won it back into boxing the Bianconeri in again. Zielinski square. Çalhanoğlu strikes it. This time Di Gregorio wasn't getting there into on a corner.
Don't know what they're checking, but it's clearly deflection from Cominers. I want to see the Bisek header. quite similar to, I think it was to Ram one here. Plenty of power. But it's a good save because you have to palm away the ball in the right direction.
I think you're thinking of the Thuram header against Torino. Match day 1, the 5-0 win. When he seemed to hang forever in the air. Boni with the header. McKennie wants to watch it into touch. McKennie will ignore Kivu playing ball boy. Here comes the board from Daniele Doveri, but not yet for added time, I don't think. He's preparing it nonetheless. Openda trying to spin in behind. Spalletti asking for a foul by Carlos Augusto. What do you think? 5 minutes? 6?
Yeah, 5, I think. We should see.
Zielinski. Koopmeiners at least approaching the Polish midfielder. This is Juve. For Bisek now. Zielinski. He can strike them! Zielinski brings the house down. A heartbreaker for 10-man Juventus on St. Valentine's Day. But that's been his goal of choice all season long. And surely this time, the Nerazzurri won't let the lead slip.
Mamma mia, Patrick. Mamma mia. What a game of football. And what a strike. And what player Zielinski is. Again with his left foot from distance, finding a crucial goal for the Nerazzurri. Di Gregorio cannot do anything. This probably will mean 3 points for the Nerazzurri. But this player, when he's fit, is outstanding. Bisek finding Zielinski. Locatelli trying to block the number 7. The ball goes in between the number 5 legs. And from there, probably Di Gregorio, yeah, you can see from this angle, he cannot see anything. Maybe central, he cannot react. You can see the desperation from Di Gregorio.
Zielinski, a title winner with Napoli. He wants to claim the Scudetto with Inter. One of the most two-footed players in the division, if not the most ambidextrous player we have. And every goal this season has been a memorable one. Verona and Bologna, Cremonese and now Juventus, but the Bianconeri still believe. It looks like Inter are going to get revenge for the reverse fixture. Only 4 added minutes. McKennie with the cross. Headed clear only as far as Hull. He's found Boga. The ball in for Koopmeiners. And Sommer clings on.
Please, Patrick, play another 10, 15, 20 minutes. Please, lads. Please, referee, add 20 minutes because we don't want to go and celebrate San Valentino. We want to stay here at San Siro.
A comfortable save for Sommer in the end. Looks like Inter are going to get their revenge for the 7-goal thriller back in mid-September. Adžić with an added time winner then. Zielinski's goal, an added time goal, is the one that separates the sides once again. Locatelli's ball straight to Çalhanoğlu. Inter can make it look more comfortable now. Came off Esposito. Locatelli, Koopmeiners. This is home. Inter have committed numbers forward. Just need to try and shut the game down. Wes McKennie, clever ball for Holm. Boni with the challenge. Juventus throw. It'll be a long one, you think, from McKennie.
Patrick, twice Çalhanoğlu had the chance to kill the rhythm, kill the inertia of the game and keep the ball going with square, easy passes. No, he forced things, and now Juventus with the long throw-in by McKennie's got maybe the last chance of the game.
And if Juventus score again, there will be no time to react. McKennie's long throw. Bremer's underneath it. It came off Holm. That's Lautaro. Boga felt he was caught. No foul, says Federico Lapenna. Will it stay in play for Juve? It won't. But Juventus have 30 seconds to get the ball up the pitch. Looks like it's done. This was the challenge from Juve on Boga, similar to the challenge from Kalulu on Bastoni in the first half.
There is a contact, but no penalty.
Long by Di Gregorio. Juventus can't win the flick on. Lautaro holding it up. Now Çalhanoğlu. There is time for a fourth. There's scope for a fourth. Çalhanoğlu, Boni dropping the shoulder. Koopmeiners off the line.
Fantastic by Koopmeiners. That was going to meet the net. Was onside. Great chop here. Great play by Koopmeiners, but look like the game might be over now.
Inter will surely keep it in the corner. Inter wasting valuable seconds. Locatelli's got the ball away. Inter still have the ball. Carlos Augusto, we've played the 4 added minutes. Bisek keeping hold of it. All eyes on Federico La Penna. Zielinski. Great ball from Sommer. This is Juve now. Lautaro wants it through the middle. Anti-Juve. Esposito on the near side. This is Boni. Locatelli played the ball. Bremer now. Away from Çalhanoğlu, who's been penalised. He has also been booked earlier on. It's just a